ready.
According to the American Institute of Stress, over half of all American adults feel stressed every day. While it is common to feel stress from time to time in minor situations, persistent stress over long periods of time can result into what's known as chronic stress, which is defined as the feeling of pressure and being overwhelmed consistently. This is concerning for those in high stress or demanding positions and raises questions about those individuals' mental health. So I decided to ask the question, does chronic stress negatively impact mental health, especially looking at high stress occupations? After researching, I concluded that chronic stress found in demanding roles, such as military service and professional athletes, significantly increases the risk of developing mental health disorders. In order to understand the impact of chronic stress, it's first necessary to overview how the brain responds to stress. When a stressor is first detected by the brain, it activates what's known as a fight or flight response. This involves releases of hormones that are designed to help the body react to stress. When stress becomes chronic, however, the response is consistently activated over and over again, and this consistent activation causes hormone levels to remain elevated and a disruption in the body. So how does this persistent activation affect mental health? We can observe this by looking at the experiences in those of professional athletes and military service. Athletes face unique stressors that increase their susceptibility to mental health disorders. As their skill levels escalate, so does the pressures they face. From media scrutiny to fear of career-altering injuries and even pressures from coaches and teammates, the continuous stress in professional sports can profoundly affect one's mental health. Consider Simone Biles, a well-known American gymnast. Biles has made many big accomplishments, from gold medals in the Olympics to setting new world records. However, during the Tokyo Olympics, Biles made headlines for different reasons. She had decided to withdraw from the competition. In the Simone Biles and Moral Courage article, she explained how she needed to put her mental health first and quoted that the mental is not there. The pressures of performance, coupled with the intense spotlight of the Olympics, shows the impact of chronic stress on even the most accomplished athletes such as Biles. Biles' decision sheds light on the presence of chronic stress in sports. Another high-stress occupation is serving in the military. The demanding nature of military service also increases exposure to chronic stress. Operating under extreme conditions, members are tasked with split-second decisions that may carry profound consequences. And especially in active duty, members often have life or death in their hands. One specific example of a stressor that might exacerbate their stress is unethical orders. According to the Moral Courage and Intelligent Disobedience article written by Thomas, the Uniform Code of Military Justice states that military personnel are legally required to follow orders. But what happens when these orders are coming from a corrupt official or in general unethical? Standing up to these officials with the fear of punishment and trying to make the right decision despite their morals all increases military chronic stress. While being a professional athlete and serving in the military are completely different career paths, they both share struggles with chronic stress, which will lead to mental health issues. Both professions involve high stress levels, performance expectations, and a threat to the way of life through injury. The chronic stress experienced in these occupations can have lasting effects on mental health. For athletes especially, research done by Rice and colleagues in 2016 explains the effect of chronic stress on mental health in professional athletes. They found that competing at the highest levels of sport can lead to overtraining, injury, and burnout, which in turn leads to increased risk of developing mental health issues, such as anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and suicidal thoughts. In an Australian survey, researchers found over 50% of professional athletes in Australia alone show symptoms of mental health disorders. Moving on to the military, relentless exposure to danger coupled with moral complexities in military operations worsens the strain on service members' mental health. This contributes to increased vulnerability of disorders such as post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. Research by Ano and colleagues in 2023 found that approximately 14 to 16% of those who served in Iraq and Afghanistan have been diagnosed with PTSD or depression. And when considering all the previous and current deployment, as well as the number of those who go undiagnosed, this number is much, much higher. On the other hand, some argue that stress is beneficial. Immune researcher Devar of Stanford Health highlights how stress benefits the body when coupled with immune activation. His research shows that stress results in enhanced immune response and resilience during surgery. However, it's important to recognize the distinction between short-term and chronic stress. While stress may be beneficial in certain situations, such as surgery, prolonged exposure can lead to significant negative effects on mental health, as stated before. It's also important to recognize that chronic stress is not limited to just two occupations. There's a wide range of high-stress environments and occupations that can lead to an increase in mental health disorders, such as emergency responders, healthcare providers, and corporate executives. Additionally, individual differences play a role. Factors such as sex influence the response to stress, so effects may not be completely uniform on the entire population. For example, in a study concerning sex and mental disorders, researchers found that women especially are 2 times more likely to develop mood disorders as a result of stress. In conclusion, chronic stress is a universal issue posing significant impacts towards mental health, which creates a significant challenge to individuals in high-stress environments. As a result, it's crucial to recognize this impact and prioritize accessible mental health resources. This will lead to both healthier individuals and communities.
All right, Emmy, what evidence did you gather that you didn't include, and why did you choose not to include it in your presentation?
I chose to leave out most of my findings about specifically like the brain's changing in response to chronic stress, because even though I included a portion of it to like give some background, it mostly kind of went away from my topic and I kind of felt like additional information. And especially the information I found about neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, they just kind of felt like I was more explaining how the brain reacts compared to arguing my point.
Okay, thank you. What additional questions emerged from your research, and why are they important?
One additional question that emerged while I was researching was, how do we reduce the stigma surrounding mental health in the workplace? And I found this because professional athletes and military service personnel especially don't reach out compared to like people in like less stressful jobs. And this is important because it might like improve their well-being and
Okay, all right, thank you.